So stock market is not a gamble, but you have to make informed investment decisions, and then you can gain maximum out of your equity investment. Welcome to the Fintelligent Investor channel. I'm CA Pratiksha Pai. I got a lot of comments, DMs and emails from a lot of you guys saying do some series on stock market basics. So here we are with a video for the stock market series. And I thought that before we even dive into the basics of the stock market, first let us bust some myths around stock market investing. So I got around 10 to 15 myths in relation to stock markets. But I did want this video to be long and boring and confusing. So I've chosen 5 basic myths for this video, and we are going to be discussing these myths in a quick, simple and sweet manner. And of course, for the remaining myths of the stock markets, I'll do 1 or 2 more videos. And as I finish those videos and as I upload those videos, I'll also put its link in the description box. And as of now, this is the first video on busting stock market myths. So let's dive into this video, and this is going to be a very interesting video, so please watch till the end. So the first classic myth about stock markets that we've all heard sometime or the other in our life is that stock market is a gambling den. If you put your money, you're just gambling with your money. Even if you have heard this myth, type a yes in the comment box and let me see how many of you have heard this classic myth saying stock market is a gamble. See, stock market investing becomes a gamble only when you mindlessly start investing on the basis of some tips or someone else has invested, so you invest, or some very positive news came but you've not done your research, etc. But if you do a proper technical analysis, what is technical analysis? We will definitely discuss in the stock market series. If you do a proper fundamental analysis, technical analysis, basically analysis of the various parameters and numbers, and fundamental analysis is the fundamentals on which the company is standing and operating, and what has been its history and how strong is the company fundamentally. You have to do these 2 analysis, and then you have to logically invest. You have to follow a particular strategy, a methodology. When we see all the big billionaire stock market investors, we see that each of them had their own unique strategy which they followed, which they doubled down upon, and today they have become billionaires of stock markets. So of course, stock market is not a gamble when you take researched and informed decisions. It's not like you just invest and your money starts growing and you will have a success story. Definitely there are hundreds, thousands and lakhs of success stories in the stock market. But it is also true that there are a whole lot of loss stories, failure stories also, which we do not maybe listen most of the times. So stock market is not a gamble, but you have to make informed investment decisions, and then you can gain maximum out of your equity investment. With this, we come to the second myth of today's video. That is, stock market investments are risky. Stock market investments in itself are called what? High risk, high reward, which means there is definitely a risk which can be a lot higher than your other investment avenues. But the returns will also be higher. But does that always mean a guaranteed gain? No. A stock may fall as soon as you purchase it. It may fall. You purchased at 100, it falls to 80. But at such point of time, you should not panic and sell, because dips, falls in the stock markets are also very common. Ups and downs are very common in the stock market. Let us see this with a practical example. This is my screen. Okay, here you can see the Sensex chart of they've shown it from 1980 onwards. Let us check this chart somewhere from the year 91. I'm taking 91. So at 91, if you see, if I'm not wrong, July, August 91, it's at 2,200. 2,200, 1,710 to 2,000, almost 2,000. And then as on date, it is 79,000 plus, more than 79,000. Okay. Now, but see over here, let's assume you didn't purchase in 91. Okay. Let's assume you purchased your Sensex fund if you invested in, or some share, okay, in the Sensex also, in somewhere around 2007. Okay. If you see December 2007 or November 2007, it is 19,500. Okay, Sensex is at 19,500 on November 2007. Then came the 2008 crash, the classic crash, which we all have definitely heard about. I was somewhere in my 10th, 11th at that point in time. And if you see this, the 2008 crash, the Sensex has fallen down to 10,000. Where were we? At 19,000. And then where did it fall? 10,000. So if you had panicked and sold over here, you would have made a loss. But if you held on from 2007, if you held on and on and on, let's see where it leads us. Somewhere over here, see, 2019 November, from the 19,000, it has reached up to 41,000. If you see, 41,000 from 2007 to 2019, which is a mere 12 years. From 19,000, it has reached to 40 plus, 41,000. Okay. Then came the COVID. If you see over here, 2020, again, it has crashed and fallen down to 30. From 40, it has fallen down to 30. Okay. It had gone up to 19, fallen to 9 in 2008. And then it went again to touch around 40, 41 and fell down to 30, 29, 30, 29,000, 30,000. Again, if you had sold over here, you would have faced a loss. But no, if you held on, it has gone up and up and up, and today it has reached 79 plus, 79,000 plus. Okay. So this is the way the stock markets actually work. There are ups and there are downs, there are raises, there are dips. And what happens is that you need to just hold on and be a long-term investor, because in the long run, it will normalize. There will be ups and downs, but somewhere in the long run, it will normalize for you and you will gain out of this. This is not what I am saying, but this is the past history trends showing on the screen. It is the history that is showing. Now, if you say, now forget all the dips. Forget all the dips. If you had just, purchased something at a high just before COVID, but let us not even assume that you had purchased when there was a crash. Let us assume that the last high before the crash of COVID, you purchased at 40,000, for example. Forget the COVID dip and this and that. Even then, from 2020 till 2024, just within 4 years, your money would have doubled. So, share market investments are definitely risky, but no matter how much a share market crashes, it will never reach zero. Point number 1. Point number 2, the share market graph at the end of the day has ups and downs, but ultimately, as the economy grows, the share market investments will also grow. And thirdly, in the long run, it will all normalize despite the ups and downs. So, as an investor, as soon as you purchase, if that share falls, still, if the fundamentals of that company are strong, plus you are invested, you stay invested as a long-term investor, then you can normalize a whole lot of risks in the long run. The third classic myth of stock markets is that you need to have an expert knowledge in finance in order to gain from stock markets. So again, this is a very, very classic myth is what I would like to say. If you see the top billionaire investors in India, like for example, the late Rakesh Jhunjhunwala sir, he was a chartered accountant. Then there is another chartered accountant by the name C.A. Ramdev Agarwal. So, of course, these are chartered accountants who have become billionaires in stock markets. But there are others like Porinju Veliath, who is a law graduate. Imagine law and finance. What is the connection? But still, and okay, he had a unique strategy also. He has a unique strategy of investing and gaining out of those investments, which we will discuss in a while. But yes, he's a law graduate and he has become a billionaire by investing methodologies. And if not that, there is one more notable name, which is Radhakrishna Damani, who is the promoter and owner of DMart. Okay, so now you may say that Radhakrishna Damani, the net worth itself is nearing 2 lakh crore Indian rupees. So you may tell that he's the owner of DMart. So that net worth is not only because of his share market investing. True, but even before he had listed DMart, just because by his investment methodologies itself, he was still a dollar billionaire. So we can and what is his educational background? He's an undergraduate. Okay, he's an undergraduate. Then we have Mr. Ramesh Damani also, who is an HR graduate. So basically, your professional degree does not determine whether you will be successful in stock markets. That is the bottom line that I'm trying to convey over here. But having said that, it doesn't mean that you blindly start investing based on some tips or some articles or some posts or some videos. Definitely, a very basic knowledge is required. You should understand whether the revenue is growing, whether the profits are growing year on year, whether this company has a proper expansion plan, what is the company doing with its debts, that is loans. Are the loans going up? Is the company able to repay the loans? Is the company paying out dividends? Paying out dividends or not is not a metric for the success of the company. This also we will discuss. Okay, whether a company pays dividend or not does not determine whether that company is successful or not. If you know the company Google, it reinvests its own dividend rather than paying it out to the shareholders. Why? Google, it told its shareholders that if we give you this money as a dividend, what will you do with it? You will never be able to utilize that money in a way and grow it in a way in which we can by reinvesting it with us itself. Are you getting it? So Google said, if there is 100 rupees dividend, if we give you 100 rupees dividend, can you grow it? To what extent can you grow it? 100 का हम आपको दे रहे हैं. You will invest it somewhere, you will make it 105. You will make it 108. Okay, you will make it 110 or 140. But you invest it back with us. We will make it 120. This is an example. Okay, so they said if you keep it in bank, if you put it in other shares, nowhere can you grow that money as much as we can grow it for you. So Google did not give the dividends, and instead it reinvested back into its company. And of course, Google is a very successful company, and that did not go waste. But paying out dividend or not does not determine whether a company is successful or not. Even we saw that MRF, which is a 1 lakh rupee share, 1 lakh is its market price. They gave out a dividend of 3 rupees. 3 rupees. So how much dividend the company gives or whether the company gives a dividend or not does not determine whether the company is successful or not. Okay, coming back to our point which we were discussing. Expert financial knowledge is not required. Basic financial knowledge to just see whether the company is fundamentally strong and performing technically well is enough to gain out of stock markets, to make wise investment decisions. In order to get this basic level of knowledge which can help you to make proper investment decisions, of course, I am coming up with the stock market series. This is one of the first videos in this series. So subscribe to my channel and like this video so that my videos will pop up on your screen when I put any new videos, and you can watch all those videos and try to strengthen your basics in stock markets. The myth number 4 is that, will I need a whole lot of money to invest in stock markets? See, if you are a student earning just a stipend out of your internship, then you can invest even with that money. The least amount of money with which you can invest in the share market is the price of one share. So if a small stock, say even if it is 100 rupees, then you can invest with 100 rupees. But if you are investing in, say, MRF share, then today the price is 1,29,000. So it depends on which share you want to purchase, and the minimum amount that with which you can invest in a share market is the price of at least one share. Now you may tell me that, what is the point of investing in smaller stocks? It may crash. That is why you have to see the technical analysis and the fundamental analysis. Now, Porinju Veliat sir, he has a very unique strategy in his investment journey. What he does is he invests in shares of small, unknown companies, the shares which are undervalued. The shares which are undervalued. And he sells these shares when they reach their correct value. So he picks those shares which have been undervalued, which are of small and unknown companies in a way, and then they wait till it reaches its proper value, the real value, and then when it reaches its actual value, they used to sell these shares. And with this methodology of investing, he has become a billionaire today. Another very interesting story, if you're a student, you should listen to this definitely. So my husband, he's also a chartered accountant, but when he was doing his internship, as soon as he started getting his stipends, he used to go through Economic Times and look at shares which are, less price shares, because, in stipend you can't purchase bigger shares. So he used to search for shares which are priced low, and he used to purchase these shares, and that's how he built his portfolio. And after marriage also, he used to keep buying these shares and all. And then one fine day, he has, utilized this investment and purchased one nice gold necklace for me. So, definitely you can also impress your future spouse if you start investing today without having to burn your pockets at that point in time. Also, the SEBI chief had, spoken about satirization, where, at least in the mutual fund space, they are trying to get down the amount as far as possible so that even students or some, even low income group people can enter the mainstream economy by, investing with small amounts. Of course, fractional share investing is still not there in India, but, when the economy has to grow and more and more people need to come into the mainstream, that could also be a solution. So the bottom line point that I'm driving through all of this talk is that definitely you don't require a whole lot of money in order to invest into the stock markets. You can invest with smaller amount of money as well. Now you might tell, if I have to invest with 100 rupees, 200 rupees, what will I gain? What will I gain? Even if on 100 rupees, even if you get 20% returns, okay, still what is the amount? 120, right? So you may feel that, why should I do this? But with stock markets, there is the power of compounding, okay? And even that 20% return is much, much higher than what other avenues could have given to you. So either that 100 rupees you will somewhere, you will spend it in a hotel or with friends or something. Or maybe, you will make it from 100 to 1000 and keep a small FD or something like that. If you are already with an investing mindset, you will have to invest in one or the other avenues. So rather, it is better to invest in share market after doing all your research and taking an informed decision. Also in this video, I spoke twice or thrice about MRF share. I am not in any ways associated with MRF. I want to make that clear and give a disclaimer. I'm just using the name for the purpose of my video to drive my points so as to make it simpler and easier for my audience to understand. So yes, you do not need too much of money to invest and start your share market investment journey. And finally, we come to myth number 5, which is the last myth for this video. And this myth is that, should I wait for the share market to crash so that I can invest in the share market? Or we can also put it this way: when the stock market crashes, then invest as much as possible. Stock market crash. In beautiful words, it's also called as stock market correction, or it is also called as timing the market. Okay, timing the market. Now, the experts will tell that you should not wait for a correction. You should not time the market. You should not wait for a correction in order to invest. But you should invest when you have the money. Say today, for example, if I got 1 lakh rupees, let's manifest that. Okay, if I get 1 lakh rupees, today I should take the decision to invest. If I say that, oh, in 1 month the stock market is going to crash, let me wait till that 1 month. Okay, first and foremost thing, at the end of that 1 month, I would have spent that 1 lakh. I would have never had it with me also. Okay, and second thing, there might not be a crash. I might have to wait longer and longer and longer. Okay, so invest when you have money. Do not wait for the stock market correction to happen. Invest when you have the money. Okay, because now say some person number A invests today or invested somewhere in say 2004, 2005. Person number B would have invested in 2008 when the crash happens. But still, within those 3 years, if that share has undergone a stock split, stock bonus, then person number A will have more number of shares with him. Correct? Because, all these things happen. The person A might have received more bonus, better capital appreciation. Even if person B gets to either the same range or slightly lower, but if there is a stock split, bonus, etc., person A will have more shares with him. Okay, you might say that stock split matlab even the prices get split, na? But that is an in-depth topic which we can discuss later on again in a separate video. Of course, when a stock split happens, the number of shares multiplies, the price divides, but still the volatility goes up, and finally the prices normalize according to the volatility and market sentiment and all that. But do not wait for a market correction. Invest when you have the money. Peter Lynch has quoted that far more money has been lost by investors in preparing for corrections or by anticipating corrections than has been lost in the corrections themselves. So, people will wait. I have 1 lakh rupee. I will keep it in SB or FD, which I can break whenever I want. And when there is a market correction, then I will invest. But what happens when there is a market crash? See, you will keep some 1 lakh rupee ready, saying that you will keep some 1 lakh rupee ready, saying that when the market will crash, I will invest. But when the market crashes, will you have the confidence to invest? Doubtful. Will that money remain there only, or you would have already utilized it for some other purposes? Oh, credit card debt is high. Oh, 1 lakh rupees is there. Let's go for a quick tour and come. Something like that, and the money would have gone. Okay? So don't wait for a correction to happen. While some of your friends may have already invested and taken the benefit of stock splits and bonuses and dividends, you will keep on waiting for the market to crash, and which may or may not happen. And ultimately, in the long run, as I said, the risks will normalize and the returns will go up as the economy grows. So invest when you have the money and do not wait for a stock market correction or a stock market crash to happen. So we have discussed 5 stock market myths. To what extent are they a myth, and to what extent are they real, and how we can go over all this and still gain from stock markets. We will come with more and more such videos, very interesting videos on personal finance, stock markets, and mutual funds, and a lot of finance related content. So be connected with us, subscribe to our channel, like this video and share this with your friends so that more and more people who are interested in stock market investing can benefit from this video. If you have been here till here with me, thank you so much for watching the whole video. I'll come back with another interesting video for our series. Till then, goodbye.